Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Action Edition Evangelion Test Type-01 from Blokees. I'm really excited about this one. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Blokees for sending this over for the purpose of this review. Now I have to admit, I haven't seen Evangelion in quite a few years. But I've always really loved the designs of the Evangelions. I think they look so cool. I love the color scheme here for 01 with the green and purple. I feel like it's very iconic. And I just think this is going to be super cool. Now, if we take a look over here at the side, it shows off some of the different functionality and things. So if I zoom in here a little bit, has open and closing jaw, a bunch of different weapons for him to use. There's like a replacement shoulder armor. I'm assuming it gets damaged or something at some point, and you can swap that out. You can actually take out the tube where the human sits. Advertises the different kinds of joints and everything here. You have this really cool display stand that kind of doubles as the framing that they kind of dock into, and it has the umbilical cable, which is how they plug in. It also has some ruined buildings that you can use to make it look like he's fighting in the city. I think all of that is incredibly cool. If we take a look at the back here, just shows off a couple different poses with the different weapons and things, and then it shows you a little bit of the sprues and what that kind of looks like, and a little bit breakdown, kind of a cool rendering of the pieces all out there before you snap it all together. And then here's a full loadout of everything that's included, and also boasts that the fluorescent materials will kind of catch the light. I don't think they're glow in the dark. They almost kind of look like they're glow in the dark, but I don't think they are. Up here, just kind of again showing off the Eva. Over here on the side as well. I don't think there's anything going on the bottom. So let's go ahead, let's get this open and take a look at the inside. So if we pop the box open here, you can see everything that we get inside here. And if you're not familiar with Blokees, they're definitely a very excellent model kit brand. I kind of started with the smaller Galaxy version 4-inch figures, which are very easy to snap together. You didn't really have too much to do. And now they're branching out into these much larger model kits. And I just think these are absolutely fantastic. They never have stickers. They never need glue. You never need snippers. You can just kind of pop them off the sprue. Nice and easy to put together. And look at this amazing booklet here. I think this is absolutely amazing to give you all the breakdown. Nice color manual, shows you all the pieces, so you can make sure you have everything before you get started. And then it's just a nice walk through everything, how it goes together. Really nice color directions. I feel like that really makes a difference with model kits, because sometimes it can be hard to tell what, especially for the smaller intricate pieces, what exactly you're dealing with. But when you have these really nice colored instructions, it makes all the difference in my opinion. So absolutely love this. And then you can see here we have the bags with all the sprues. Now there are definitely quite a few bags here, but like I said, you can see the display base already has all that paint on there. You never have to paint or apply stickers yourself. You don't glue. It's all snap together pieces. Really, really nice. Oh, and it looks like we even have this really cool kind of holofoil card here. That's awesome. I love that. So I'm really excited to get this built. I'm going to go ahead and get started here, and then we will take a closer look. So here is Eva Unit 01 fully assembled. It was a really fun build, and just to reiterate, you don't need any stickers or paint or glue or anything like that. It's just multicolored plastic. Everything snaps together very easily, and it came out looking amazing. Of course, he has a ton of accessories and interchangeable parts that we'll get to in a moment, but just to focus on the figure on its own real quick. For a size comparison, first off, I would say he's probably about 6 inches tall, to the top of the head, maybe 7 to the top of the shoulder pauldrons there. But just to show off some comparisons, here is a 4-inch Epic World of Action figure, so you can see a little bit taller than his waist. And then here is a Voyager class Transformer from Hasbro. You can see that they're about the same height to the top of the head, and I would say these are probably 6 inches. So I would say 6 to 7, depending on how much you want to talk about the head or the shoulders there. But really looks great. Really like him quite a bit. Head sculpt, phenomenal. Really nicely done. Now some of the pieces do have paint on them, but it's nothing you have to apply yourself. You can see that the mouth opens and closes, and there's some nice red paint detail there on the inside. And then it kind of closes up and fits perfectly, as you can see. The eyes look great. Now, while you're building it, they do give you the option. They have kind of an additional piece here that you can swap in where the eyes aren't painted. And I don't know why you'd want that, but I think there might be like scenes where when it runs out of powers, like maybe the eye go dark. And so you could simulate that. You'd have to take it apart a little bit, but you definitely could do it. I love the little horn / antenna here on the front. That all looks great. Now, you do have a lot of articulation points, so you do have movement here at the head and also the base of the neck. So you can see that kind of moving around there, and then as well you can move this around on a ball joint at the base of the skull. You have the shoulder pauldrons are kind of on like little ball joints. You can see they're connected right there, so you can move them around. They do limit the shoulder a little bit, but not too bad, and I think that's why you can move them around, so you can kind of, move this a little bit. I'm going to just pop this off temporarily, just so you can see it's a very simple little ball joint connection there. But just so you can get the full range of motion here with the shoulder, you can go out to the side. There's a hinge. You can also rotate front to back. Then you have a double jointed elbow here, so you can do that. There's a little bit of movement side to side, but not too much at like the elbows. Most of the movement is going to come from the shoulder, because you can see how that can kind of move side to side there as well. And then you have a joint very similar to like a figure art style ball joint here, where there's kind of a hinge, and then the hand can move around. And of course you can pop this off, because there are going to be tons of different hand options that we can do. But just so you can see, there's kind of the hinge there, and then that can move around as well. So pop that back on. And then you have a connection here, like in the upper abdomen. And then you have, I think there's a connection here as well as a connection here. So you can get kind of a nice ab crunch going on there. As you can see, kind of hunched forward or all the way back. And you can move around a little bit as well. Pop that back on. Then for the hip, you have a nice range of motion here, kind of a thigh swivel. You can kick very far forward, you can kick back, kick out to the side pretty decently there, so you can move that all around. Then you have double jointed knees, and then you have a kind of swivel and hinge down here in the ankle. You can see this piece is on a ball joint, so you can kind of move that around a little bit as you need to for whatever poses. And then you also have like a toe crunch, I guess, toe articulation there, whatever we want to call that. I love the look of the heels here. I think that's so cool. So all in all, really nice articulation, really fun. And honestly, once it's together, it doesn't really look or feel like a model kit. It feels like a full figure, which I think is really cool. I like that quite a bit. But it's a really, really nice model kit. Very fun to put together. The detailing looks amazing, and it's all just multicolored plastic. Very, very cool. Another little feature here that I think is really cool, right here on the back, you can lift this up and kind of pop this out and slide it down for the tube where the human enters, and you can actually take that out. They give you two of these. As far as I can tell, they're exactly the same. Let me see if I can find the other one. Here it is. As far as I can tell, they are exactly the same, but they do give you two of them, I guess, just in case you lose one, because they are kind of tiny. But I think that's so cool. You just pop it right in there, slides right in, and then you can close this up so that, I think it was Kenji? Shinji. It's been a while since I've seen it. But there you go. You're ready to go. Looks fantastic. Really, really liking the look of this quite a bit. So let's go ahead and start taking a look at some of these accessories. So I feel like the first thing we got to talk about is all the different hands that they give you. So these pieces come solid. You don't have to build the hands at all. There you have the little paint there on the knuckles, which is cool. And right now I just kind of have like some generic open hands on him. But there are so many options here. So we have a set of hands, almost like karate chopping hands, that I feel like, you know, if you wanted him to simulate an Ultraman Kosen attack, you could certainly do with those, which is really fun. You have a closed fist set of hands. You also have what I like to call the thumbs up set of hands, but this is for holding a very specific accessory that we'll take a look at in a little bit. And then you have these kind of like weirdly open set of hands. These might be specific to a scene from the show. I almost feel like he's getting ready to do like a what is the solar flare from Dragon Ball Z, or maybe some kind of like attack. So I'm not quite sure what these are for. And then you also have another set of hands that is like a trigger finger set of hands. And then this one is, it's weird. One's a trigger finger and then one's just like another kind of open hand, almost kind of similar to what I have on him there. So don't have a trigger finger for both hands, which is interesting, but I guess it makes sense. I think, you know what this actually is probably? I think this is for like holding the underside of the weapon while he's using the trigger finger. I think that's what it's for. That makes sense. So yeah, we'll try out some of those with some of the other accessories. So first up here, I am going to use one of the thumbs up hands because that is used to hold this knife that he comes with. And this is also a fully formed piece. You don't have to put this together. It's just in the sprue exactly like this. Has a little bit of the neon green paint on it. Looks really good. Nice molded detail there. And this just pops in the hand. And then you can kind of use that finger to kind of guide it like that. Now again, you do have one of these for each hand, so you can put the knife in either hand, which I think is really cool. And the other thing that's actually really cool, if we take this out, you have an alternate shoulder pauldron that I can pop this one off and pop this one on like so, and you can see that it's actually opening up for him to grab the knife out of it. So this is where the knife is stored, and you could actually like have him reaching up and grabbing the knife out, which I think is so cool. That's such a neat function there. Now this one can actually come out, so this is just to simulate this scene, but you can see that the pauldron is open and the knife is there so that he can be reaching for it, so you could have a cool pose like this where, you know, he's kind of getting ready and reaching up to grab that knife, which I think looks really, really cool. I like that quite a bit. So, and these are very easily swapped out, just a super tiny little ball joint there. And then you could pop this one back on once it's closed up, and then you could put the knife in his hand like so. Up next, I have him with my favorite accessory, which is this blaster here, which I think looks awesome. You can see I have the trigger finger hand in there, and then you can kind of use the other hand to kind of grab a hold of that, which I think works really, really well. I will say it's a little difficult to get the hand inside here to make sure that the thumb and the forefinger and everything go in the right spot. I got a little bit of stress on the pinky there, trying to get everything in, but once you do, it's really nice, and he holds it very well. I mean, that's not going anywhere, so you can get some cool poses here with this, and I think that looks absolutely fantastic. Next up, I've got him posed here with this massive Gatling gun that he also comes with. Now, I've tried to get the trigger finger hand to go in this space, but I feel like the plastic's just a little too thick, and I didn't want to like warp it or break it, but I feel like this kind of works. I mean, as long as you can have a hand under here to hold this, I feel like that's most of it, and then the other one just kind of guides it in place, so you can have this massive Gatling gun here, which I think is also pretty cool. But I think I like the smaller blaster better, but I do appreciate the inclusion of this. Let me see if I can get him kind of holding this a little bit more forward, and then I can turn this, there we go, something like that. But yeah, really cool, giant, massive Gatling gun. And this can actually spin, which I think is really cool. There's nothing to make it spin. You just have to turn it by hand, but still a really cool accessory. Now, in terms of a display stand, we have a couple options. First up here, we have kind of the charging rack, I guess, for lack of a better term, where they kind of house the Eva when they're not using it. You can see here, I can actually take this out. This is kind of the charging cable, which will plug into the back, and then this wire is bendable, so you can kind of move it around to get whatever kind of pose you need it to. But how this works is you can see that there's a connection here at the back, and so this will plug in there, and then you just kind of put this around, and then this will plug back in to this space here, so you can kind of do with that as you will. Now, the only problem I find with this, while it's very, very cool, The bendy wire, you know, just kind of naturally doesn't make him stand flat. So you have to kind of find like the right curvature for this. I kind of wish that he had either like a groove down here that the feet naturally fit into, or honestly I'd prefer like little pegs that I could peg his feet onto. That way I could kind of keep this in place and then kind of bend this how I need to make him kind of stand flat. I can kind of work on something. So this kind of works if I kind of bring this down a little bit like this, but he still kind of moves around a little bit, but that's not too bad. So you can see you have that kind of rack there in the background. he's dancing, he's jittering a little bit. Let me see if I can bend this a little bit more the other way. Something like that, maybe. That kind of works. So I think that's really cool. I love the charging cable there. I think that's really neat. And I love this whole kind of like rack armature that they have built here, which I think is really cool. Now the other thing we can do, if we take this out and we remove this piece here, you can actually take this entire base off, so this kind of bottom part will completely pop off. So let me see how I can get this off of here. It's not too difficult. I just like to make sure I'm taking the correct piece off and not unplugging the pylons here. So this whole piece can come off, and then you can use this base piece here. And they also include a kind of stand like this that you can pop in here. And then this has a movement point here, here, and here. So you can move this all around whatever height you need it to. And then you have this kind of grabby claw section. And this can grab around his waist. So you can have him kind of jumping or kicking or doing whatever you want. You can also kind of bring it down so that he can stand flat there. They also include these two like fractured building pieces that you can peg around like this. So it can kind of look like he's fighting in a ruined cityscape, which I think is really cool. So you have a lot of great display options here. You can do something like this with kind of a live action pose in the broken city, or you can use the kind of armature piece here to kind of look like he's charging, you know, getting ready for battle, something like that. So really, really cool. I really appreciate both of these options. I almost kind of wish they gave us two display stands so I could have both, but at the same time, I only have one Ava, so I guess it doesn't really make sense, but I appreciate both options. So however you want to display this guy, you definitely have a couple great ways to do it. I think this is a really fun kit. I mean, this was a really great build. I kind of just threw some TV on. Probably took me around 2 hours or so, just kind of taking my time, making sure everything fit together really nicely. Really great build. The colors are great. I love the fact that you don't have to use any stickers or paint or glue, because I hate messing with all that stuff. Just really nice pieces of plastic that snap together really nicely and hold together really well. A lot of great accessories. I love the display stand options. I just feel like everything you could probably want for this guy is included, and they've done such a great job here. And I love it. I think he looks fantastic. I think what they've done so far with the Action Edition line is great. If you remember, I did a review of a Soundwave they did for Transformers. That figure was phenomenal. And so I really love what they're doing with the Action Edition line. Just a really great kit that leaves you with an awesome looking Ava here with tons of display options. Really, if you're an Ava fan, I think you're going to want to check this one out. So once again, huge thank you to Blokees for sending this to me for the purpose of this review. But I definitely recommend this one. Check it out. It's a fun build, and you're left with a really great model kit when you're done. Really, really great. Just everything about it. The colors, the articulation, the accessories. Really awesome stuff. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.